to the Beard Speaks podcast. Hey, all right, guys, what's going on? Pat here with Beard Speaks podcast. That's right. We are back from a small hiatus, guys. I needed a break. Oh, my God, did I need a break. So had to take a little time away and just reset. We all need that once in a while. A lot of stuff been going on this year. 2025 has been rough, man. A lot of family stuff going on, health in the family and trying to do a lot of different things at one time. So needed a little break. Needed to take the wife on a getaway and just kind of ease back and take a few breaths. So I've been missing for about a month or two, but I also took a little break to finish off my new album that I'll give you guys a sneak peek a little bit later here on this show. I'll drop my first single. So if you guys go to YouTube and just search Pat Catalano, the Pat Catalano Project, you can check out my music there. But I will drop a single here. We'll listen to it together and guys, tell me what you think. But in the meantime, I want to say thank you again for everybody that continues to download the Beard Speaks podcast. It's, again, a labor of love for me. I enjoy doing the podcast and coming here and, giving you guys an hour or so of my time and just bringing you guys some cool content. So I want to give a quick shout out to my top cities because, I try to do this every episode, but there are just so many cities and so many countries now listening to the Beard Speaks. It's amazing. And, it's touches my heart. Thank you so much. I love it. So, hey, shout out, obviously, hometown here, Chicago, Illinois. Big shout out to Singapore for checking in on the Beard Speaks podcast. Thank you, guys. Scottsdale, Arizona, Dallas, Texas. We've got Los Angeles, California, Knoxville, Tennessee, Washington, Virginia, Ashburn, Virginia, San Antonio, Texas, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Roselle, Illinois, Park Ridge, Illinois. Love you guys out there in Park Ridge. Atlanta, Georgia, Tacoma, Washington, Miami, Florida, home of my Dolphins. You guys are killing me, man. What happened on Monday Night Football versus Pittsburgh, man? You guys, you killed me. We'll get into that someday. Anyway, Portage, Indiana. What's going on, Indiana? Indiana might be the home of the Chicago Bears soon. What's going on there? I don't know. Austin, Texas. What's up? New York, New York. We got Evanston, Illinois, Houston, Texas, Seattle, Washington, San Jose, California, Burbank, Illinois, Topeka, Kansas, Springfield, Illinois, Naperville, Illinois, Federal Way, Washington, Phoenix, Arizona, Brooklyn, New York, Waterloo, Iowa. My friends in Waterloo, what's happening? Denver, Colorado, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Kansas City, Missouri, Las Vegas, Nevada, Tampa, Florida, Nashville, Tennessee. What's up, Nashville? And again, the list goes on. And again, I'll name off a couple of the top countries, but we're now streaming in every country, and I find that awesome, man. I really, really do. And thank you guys so much, man. Obviously, United States coming in first place. Then we got Singapore, Germany, the Russian Federation, United Kingdom, France, Japan, China, Israel, Spain, Canada, Sweden, the Philippines, Argentina, Mexico, Hong Kong, India, Brazil, Australia, South Korea, Bulgaria, South Africa, Denmark, Jamaica, Nigeria, Ukraine, Ireland, Guatemala, Indonesia, the Netherlands, Finland, Norway, Portugal. Again, the list just keeps going. We're in every country. So it's awesome. Thank you guys so much. So we're coming down to the end of 2025. What a year, man. Woo, man. What a year. Now, if you guys want some cool stuff in 2026 and have some suggestions, please send me an email, thebeardspeakspodcast@gmail.com. I check those out personally. Also, check us out at www.thebeardspeakspodcast.com. Links for all our socials. You get us there on TikTok, or we're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, the whole nine. So go check us out there. Now, speaking of Facebook, I did post something the other day Let's see if I can pop that up here. I got a year-end review from our friends at Spotify. So I went on there to check it out. I was like, okay, what's going on Spotify? Hey, I'm pretty happy to announce that we were a 2025 binged show. That's pretty cool. 2025 marathon show. And 2025 fan favorite. So that's really cool. And coming in for the best or the most listened to episode, probably one of the best, was Beards and Business and Beyond with Patrick, the big barber down there in Knoxville, Tennessee, man. So, guys, thank you so much. And if you haven't, and you want to go check out that episode, just look Beards, Business and Beyond with Patrick, the big barber. You will not be disappointed. Patrick is now become a pretty good friend of mine. I go down to Knoxville a lot, and obviously we'll be seeing him towards the end of this year, end of the month actually, to hang out with him a little bit. So I can bring you some new content there, guys. Again, I just want to say thank you for just believing in the show and sharing it with your friends, downloading, listening to it throughout the year and the last several years. So we're on, going into year 5 of the podcast, and we're breaking, some of our personal records here, and it's a really good feeling. So I thank you again from the bottom of my heart. All right, so let's get into some serious stuff with the end of the year. As I talked about, I will drop and this kind of leads into what we're going to talk about today. Something serious, that I've struggled with. And I know that people that I've talked to and, they've emailed me, and some of the supporting dads on TikTok, and a lot of parental alienation that's going on out there, which is really disturbing. But the worst happens during the holidays. Right. So what happens during the holidays? You have holiday hijacking is what they call it. And what happens what is holiday hijacking and what happens, right? So typically how this goes down is the alienating parent will enter false allegations right before the holidays. And then you get a order signed by the judge that you cannot see your children until, obviously you got to go back into court and get all that stuff straightened out. But that's never going to happen during the holidays, right? You're not going to get a court date that quickly. So, what do you think happens? No kids for the holidays. So holiday hijacking is very, very, very common. If you guys are going through that, again, I'm sorry, man. I feel you. It happens. It happens more frequently than you think. There's a lot of resources out there to help you, and there's a lot of support groups. And I really encourage parents to get out there and find these resources, because you're not alone in this, right? This happens. It happened to me. Okay. Actually happened to me this year, which is one of the personal things I've been dealing with and fighting through this year, parental alienation, and going through the court system, which does absolutely, nothing for the parent that's being alienated. So if you're out there and you're dealing with this type of evil, you've got to find yourself an outlet. You've got to find some support groups. You've got to find some parents out there, because we are all going through this together. It does happen. And unfortunately, the sad thing is that the kids suffer, right? At the end of the day, that's just what it is. And the sad part about all of this is that the alienating parent never realizes this, right? They're just a special type of evil person to, first of all, hijack holidays from you, but to alienate your kids just to begin with, right? It just takes a special evil person to do that. There's no reason to turn any child against the parent. None whatsoever. I mean, if you're an evil parent, of course, I can understand protecting your child from an evil parent. That's one thing. But when you have two loving parents, and I always have believed through, all of this, that children deserve both parents. There's always a screwed up parent that, makes these mistakes, but then sometimes it's not, it's on purpose, right? And that is just unforgivable. It's I don't know how you can move past that. And I feel for you guys out there. And, it's not easy. It's not easy to move forward because it's not only you that's being alienated, it's the rest of your family. Your children don't get to see your family. And the alienating parent sometimes doesn't even realize they're doing what they're doing. I've been told that, but I really try to think about it, and it's hard to put yourself in that headspace because, we would never do that to kids, right? We would never poison a child's mind to hate another parent because you're, angry or jealous or whatever your case is against the other parent. Work that out with that parent. Work it out with them. Don't sit back and poison your child or your children's minds against that parent. It's just pure evil. Because at the end of the day, what you don't realize as the alienating parent, those kids are going to grow up and they're going to wake up and figure out what happened, right? Because when the other parent has done absolutely nothing wrong, those kids will figure that out. We don't know. Obviously how long that takes, because as kids mature and get older, they will eventually figure it out. Their peers will ask questions. You don't talk to your mom. You don't talk to your dad. Why? Why are you not talking to the other parent? What's going on there? And whatever lies and poison that you spewed to that child and put in that child's head, they're going to repeat it. They're going to repeat it to their friends. They're going to repeat it to somebody who's going to look back at them and go, are you kidding? That's ridiculous. Are you sure? And they're going to start to question it. They are going to start to question it. And they will come to you one day and ask questions. And of course, you'll fumble and you'll continue with your poison and your lies. But then those kids or that child will turn and call the other parent. They will knock on that door. And the other parent that was alienated will be there for them. Because as parents, we have to understand that it's not the child's fault. So when they're going through all of this, and this is something that, you can look up and, do your research and learn it, because I had to, the other parent doesn't, it kind of goes down two ways, right? They're either that evil that they're just doing it on purpose, which I believe. And then there are parents that are just that mentally unstable that do it without even understanding what they're doing. But I truly believe 99% of the time they're just doing it out of pure evil and spite, okay, which is disgusting and evil right off the bat. But the children just don't understand, right? Especially when it starts young. They're a prisoner. Those kids are prisoners to that other parent because they know that your love is unconditional. But the other parent, the narcissist, the evil parent, their love is conditional. It's conditioned on you have to hate the other parent. So if it's dad or mom or whoever it is, you have to hate dad. You have to hate mom, or it's going to hurt me, right? So the alienating parent puts off that vibe, puts off that message. If you don't hate that other parent, if you don't believe me, it's going to hurt me. And the children know they want to love both parents, and they should. At the end of the day, they should, right? No child needs to go through this. So, when I talk about these things, as much as the other parent is evil, disgusting, whatever it is, you as an individual, you as the parent that's being alienated from your child and your children, have to realize at one point you got to cut that person off. you have to move on with your life and better yourself, right? Because you are never going to change that person. Never. Okay, it's never going to happen. That person will always look for ways to make you miserable. And the one way they can do it is to get your kids to hate you and despise you with lies and more lies. And the more flying monkeys that parent has, right? Just think of the Wicked Witch. And so out there, if you guys don't understand what the flying monkeys are, it's like the Wicked Witch who had in Wizard of Oz, who had the flying monkeys. So the evil parent, so, in this case, let's say it's a mother that is alienating a child to the father. She has her flying monkeys, right? What does that mean? Family members, court-appointed, therapists or, guardian ad litems or whatever you want to call them, that are the flying monkeys. They feed into it, right? The attorneys, whoever, are working with that alienating parent, that evil person. They feed into it. First of all, they know it's a paycheck, right? Recurring paycheck, man. Oh yeah, let's keep that kid away from that father. We don't have any evidence. We'll just make some shit up. Don't worry about it. Let's just, we'll come up with stuff because, hey, what the hell? We'll just keep moving this along in the court system because it's a paycheck. We're just going to keep getting paid, keep making it move. And that's, my friends, how it happens, right? That's how it happens. So these flying monkeys will feed into the lies to the child, which makes the child look back and go, holy shit, this must be true, right? And then anyone connected to you, right, that child won't listen to because they're connected to you. Oh, so no, you can't listen to that person because those are dad's friends. Of course they're gonna side with him. Right? And then what happens right away? The evil parent, the parent that's alienating your children, will start to gain those flying monkeys around them and make sure that they're all in alignment. So your children think, wow, all these other people that are on, mom or dad's side are just as bad. So we can't talk to them, or so that's how they lay it out. And it is truly, truly sad. At the end of the day, it's just sad to see kids going through that. Now, I've thrown down a challenge before on TikTok. I've talked to you guys out there, dads supporting dads, and then the moms too. Like, I want to make it clear, that I do understand, and I know for a fact, because of support groups I'm in, that this happens to mothers and fathers, right? This evil parent, this evil, disgusting, narcissist, alienating parent can be a father and it could be a mother. Doesn't matter, okay? It just so happens that in certain circumstances, in certain states, let's just say, right, there's just, it just goes the mother's way. It just is what it is, right? These are just statistics. Fact check me if you want, but it just really is. The majority of the time it happens to fathers. But it happens to mothers too, right? So I don't want to discount that. But I want you guys to understand that there's help out there and you just have to find it. And don't, one of the, and I don't want to say it this way because there's a lot of people that always say, your kid will come back to you. They'll come back to you. Hey, when they're 18, they're going to come back. It doesn't work that way. I think that's honestly one of the most just unsensitive things to say to somebody. Hey, don't worry about it when they get older. No, I mean, it's true that the kids are going to figure it out, but people, if you're not going through something like this, you will never understand what it is and what it's like to lose time with your own children. And not only losing time with your own children, but actually having those kids that you love so much Just completely hate you for absolutely no reason. No reason whatsoever other than the lies and the deceit coming from the opposite side. It is one of the most heart-wrenching things that I've seen people go through. And it's not right. And yes, there'll come a time where, your kids are going to figure it out. But I don't think that telling somebody, if you got friends out there that are going through this, or someone that's going through it, don't ever go to them and say, hey, I know it's rough right now. Don't worry about it. They'll come back to you. Because they're losing all of that time with those kids. Important times, especially when this stuff happens when they're young. A lot of times these things happen when kids are very, very young, and the other parent loses a whole childhood. Okay? Some get lucky, it starts to happen at 10, 11, 12 years old, so you lose 5 years. But that's still 5 frickin' years that you've lost with your kids. And people don't seem to really understand that. Okay? There's critical years where children pick up influences from their parents. Every child needs influences from a mother and a father. Mothers raise children differently than fathers raise children. The kids will always learn a set of, life lessons from their mother and life lessons from their father. That's what makes them whole. Okay. When you take away one of those inputs from a child's learning, that's where you get all of the problems. You have kids who have, premature sex, who have drug problems, who drop out of school, or the list goes on. And these are all facts. This happens constantly. When in all reality, in a perfect world, I guess, what can really help is if both parents just take the anger of whatever the breakup and the split up was about and not put it on the children, right? Do not involve your kids in the court battle. Do not involve your kids in your arguments, right? There's always in these situations, in these alienating situations, or even high conflict, divorces and split ups, there's always a parent that drags the kids in one way or another, where children start to know what's going on in court. They start repeating things, and you're like, hey, well, how do you know that? You're not supposed to know any of this. In all reality, kids should just be going along their business, school, church, their kids, their friends, just regular life, and not understand what is really going on other than, hey, look, mom and dad are not together anymore, so I got to go by dad's or I got to go by mom's. And honest to God, unless there is some sort of danger from one parent or another parent, both parents should have 50-50 custody and decision making right off the bat. That should be the standard. Okay, you walk into that courtroom, you were in that child's life 100% of the time, and so was the other parent. Okay, so it should just split down the middle, unless you can prove behind a shadow of a doubt with evidence that the other parent is a danger to that child. Okay, and 99% of the time, there is no danger. It's just an angry parent trying to manipulate the system and take the child away, right? And then what happens in, 99% of these cases? Well, the dad just becomes a visitor. Right? You get the kid every other weekend and maybe once a week for lunch or dinner, something like that, right? You can take the kid to the movies and then get him right back home. And then every other weekend, pick him up. I'll tell you right here, I'm no stranger to that, but I'll tell you right here, you cannot have a relationship with your kids with, a couple couple of weekends a month. You can't. Okay. You can't drive in your influence. You can't teach them, you can't have your skills imprinted on your kids with a couple of weekends a month. It just doesn't work, right? So 50-50 should be the standard, but it never works out that way. And most of the time, you have false allegations that you have to fight through. So you walk into the courtroom, and I've mentioned this before on the show. I've talked to a couple different parents here on the show and interviewed them, and I've interviewed, some authors that have talked about this too. The majority of the time, what happens is you walk into court with all your evidence, and there's really been nothing has ever happened with the kids. Everything's been great. You took responsibility in taking care of them, bringing them to school, taking them home. You guys shared in that responsibility. All parents do that. I mean, it's life, right? You share in the responsibility of raising those children. But then all of a sudden you walk into court and you were a deadbeat. For the minute you walk in there, you're the deadbeat. You've done nothing. Oh, like he's never done anything, or she's never done anything with the kids, never did any homework, never picked them up from school. And you're going, what? Are you kidding me? And now you are on the defense right off the bat. You are labeled the loser. You are labeled the deadbeat, mom or dad. You're the deadbeat. And you now have to, you're 10 steps behind the minute you walk in there, and now you're defending yourself. So now you're on defense the whole time, defending false allegation after false allegation, which becomes obviously exhausting, but that's what they want. They want to exhaust you. Not only do they want to exhaust you, but they want to exhaust your funds. They look at you. Why do you think the minute you walk into court, the first thing they do is say, hey, let's take a look at your finances. Let's look at all your money. So they can see how long they can stretch this out for. And they will stretch you out to the point that they know you're done, you're broke, and they'll say, hey, sign this because this is the best you're going to get. You're done. You're done. We can't keep going. You can't afford it. Oh, I can't because you freaking drained us dry from the minute you started all of this. And the sad part about it is the high conflict that started because one of the parents had to be, angry and had to have some sort of, revenge to hurt the other parent, doesn't even care that they're losing all their money too. And at the end of the day, whose money is that? It's the kids' money, right? College funds. School, get them a car, whatever it is that you do and you set up for your kids, it's gone. All because one parent got a bug up their ass to hurt you, to come after you. And they were selfish enough and evil enough to hurt their own child to come after you. It's disgusting. But this happens, man, and it happens a lot more than I thought it did. It happens a lot. There are so many people out there going through this, and it's sad, man. So if you're out there and you're listening and you're going, holy shit, this sounds like my story, email me, thebeardspeakspodcast@gmail.com. Come on the show. Tell us your story, because I know we need an outlet. People need outlet to get their story out there, and really it does help, but you need to find some help, man. You need to find some support groups, go to your church, go to your, women's groups at church or men's groups at church. That helps a lot. Go on Facebook. There's groups out there and people that really, can help you, kind of reel it in, and understand. I know during the holidays it's rough, and you got to find, the silver lining within all of this. If you're remarried, you have family, spend time with your family. It's going to hurt. I'm not going to be the person that says, hey, man, one day they'll come back. No, it sucks. It's going to suck that your kids are not with you for the holiday. If you had holiday, let me try that one more time. Holiday hijacking happen to you. Of course it's going to suck, and you're going to be angry. But you know what? You gotta enjoy the time with your family. put that aside. As hard as it is, you put it aside. Spend time with your family. Have a good time as best you can. And just take that breath, right? Step back, take that breath. Because there's always tomorrow, right? There's always tomorrow, man. So, with that being said, I'm going to, like I said, I'm gonna play a song. And I wrote, this song means a lot to me. This is a new song off my album. So I got a new album dropping on January 1st. Again, if you guys are digging the music I usually play on my show, this is a new project. This is in our second album, and the project is called the Pat Catalano Project, and written a bunch of songs that really are pretty deep. Okay, some of them are some party songs on there. It's not the whole album is not deep and depressing, but this song I had to drop as my first single. All right, this is the Glass Throne, and it is basically a letter to. I mean, this is a letter to all alienating parents, honestly, if you want the truth. And I'm very proud of this one. I mean, it took me a bit to be able to put a letter into a song and really put it together to make it turn out the way I wanted it to turn out. The way I wanted it to turn out. So the Glass Throne, Absent King. This is it. This is the tune. Check it out. We'll talk about it when we come back.
From the frame and taught a daughter to curse his name. You spun a web of silken lies to hide the father from her eyes. He doesn't want you, that's what you said. While planting ghosts inside her head, you built a moat, you raised the wall, and swore the king had caused the fall. You made yourself the victim and the saint, covering the truth in war paint. But blood is thicker than the schemes you weave, and she is starting to believe. Drops of pain. You told her he had walked away while he was begging just to stay. You played the martyr on the stage, trapping a bird inside a cage. But feathers grow and wings take flight to leave your everlasting night. She looks in the glass and sees his face, a memory you can't erase. The lie is crumbling stone by stone, and you will end up all alone. You sit upon a throne of glass, praying that the storm will pass. You stole the moon to hide the sun, but you cannot kill the chosen one. Oh, the gavel waits, the hammer falls, echoing through these ruined halls. She sees the cracks in what you drew, and the mirror turns to face you. She asked, "Where is he?" answered gone. But the heart is a memory that the mind cannot edit. You thought if you severed the branch, the root would die. But you forgot. Tree is his... Is broken on the door. She doesn't need you anymore. She found the truth you tried to bury, a burden she refused to carry. The absent king returns to claim the honor of a stolen name. The jury stands, the verdict read upon your own deceitful head. The glass crown shatters. She found her way home. The father, the daughter, justice is mine.
All right, there it is. Just go ahead and check out my YouTube. Just like I said, search the Pat Catalano Project. You'll figure out. You'll find it. You'll figure it out. You'll find it on YouTube. Yeah, follow that if you're digging the music. And we'll be dropping the next single. The title track, "Paper Crowns," will come out on Christmas Day. So just next week. And then the album drops worldwide on January 1st. So New Year's Day, boom. And go ahead and get your copy. I got 13 tracks. I am trying to press a vinyl. We'll see. I mean, you can't put 13 tracks on a vinyl, so I might just do a limited edition EP or like EP type vinyl with just kind of the darker themed songs on there. And then if you pick up the vinyl, you get a free download of the full album. So we'll see what we do with that. But yeah, that's coming to you guys pretty soon here. And again, one of the songs that really speaks a lot. So that song is just it's a letter to the alienating parent. It's definitely strikes deep in there that, one day that kid's going to figure it out, and you're going to be alone. You're going to be alone with your misery, and you're going to figure out that you completely screwed up a whole child's life for your own disgusting gain, whatever that was. But the money, whatever it is you got out of it is going to be gone, and your kid's going to be gone too. And that sucks, but should never be that way. And I don't condone this type of behavior, but it happens. So with that being said, it's like the state of the world, man, today. Where are we? It's been kind of crazy. A lot of different things have been happening. I've lost. I ever go to Costco and just lose faith in humanity? I have. Oh my God. You go in there once a week, once every other week, just to kind of make a Costco run and get in there and get your essentials. And man, I'm telling you, I I lose faith every time I walk in there. There's just people that can't even maneuver through a grocery store or through a Costco. I don't call Costco a grocery store. That's just a freaking warehouse. But you can't even maneuver through there without losing your faith in humanity. But I have lost some faith in humanity this year. It's been, like I said, it's been a tough year. I've lost faith in the world of professional, going through a lot of, parental alienation and things like that. There's one thing I need to, it's like a message to the professionals out there, the mental health, healthcare professionals. When you see what's going on and you know what's going on, if you stay silent, you are complicit, okay, to the abuse that's happening to those kids. That's just simple, plain and simple. They never want to say anything. They never want to call it out. They don't ever want to say anything. And it's sad. It's sad that they just let it go. They watch it happen and then do absolutely nothing. Unless you're lucky out there and you have found some mental health, professionals that actually helped you, which is probably very far and few in between, but they don't do anything. So try to screen them as best as you can, because there's a lot of them out there that just, they just don't care, again, in it for the paycheck, right? So you got to be careful out there. You got to watch yourself, and you got to think about those kids. At the end of the day, I can't stress it enough. It's always about them. You want the best for your children. And when you're going through something like this and you can't even get through to talk to them or to try to help them and show them what's really, because of your first reaction is you want to show them, hey, look, this is what's happening, but you can't do that, right? You hope that they figure it out on their own, but it's it just takes time, maturity, and again, that's the time that you lose, which is really sad. So I don't know, I don't have answers for you. I just know that it is a situation that is unfortunately happening all over the world to a lot of good people. And there's no reason for that to happen, because these kids are going to grow up regretting what happened, and they're going to grow up hating the other parent, which is unfortunate. You don't want that to be. You want the kid to grow up and love both parents and have two loving parents that, can be in this child's life forever. But one of the parents has to screw it up. They have to screw it up. So just remember, this is not a hate on the other parent. I actually feel bad. I feel pity. I feel pity for you if you are an alienating parent. I really do, because, it's going to come around. And it's unfortunate. You shouldn't, I don't wish this on anybody. But, when you put this game into play, you don't think about the consequences. You think you're gonna deal with it and you're gonna figure it out. You won't, because the hate that kid's gonna have for you is gonna be tenfold of what you thought that kid's hate was for the targeted parent. So just be careful what you wish for, man. Be careful. All right, guys. So 2026 is coming. We got some cool stuff coming up for 2026. Definitely have a backlog of interviews, that we just couldn't get to this year. Again, like I said, a lot of stuff is going on this year. Had to kind of take a step back, a couple months, a little vacation, a little breather, a little family time, and then, just some time to sit back and finish the album, which I'm very proud of. Paper Crowns comes out January 1st. Check it out on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your music. You know, it's a digital download, and you can stream it on Spotify and give me a penny, right? Damn Spotify! I don't know what you guys are doing to musicians, man. You're killing us. But again, very proud of that. And you know, the Beard Speaks will continue in 2026 with some really great content. I've got some new special guests coming on, and we're going to be talking about music. We're going to be talking about, you know, gear and different things like that. And again, our standard interviews with some very interesting people, which I really love to interview. So if you guys have a guest in mind, again, always feel free to shoot an email to the show and let us know what you guys want to hear. But in the meantime, I wanted to say again, thank you to everybody who has been listening and who has been sharing the show, because without you guys, we would be nothing. We really, really weren't. So I wanted to come on here today, just kind of give you guys a quick update on what's going on. I just wanted to shout out to the parents that have, really, I just wanted to shout out to the parents, because those that have been alienated and had their holidays hijacked from them, I wanted to give a shout out, because, you know, going through the same thing, and I totally understand, and I totally feel you guys. So that's one of the main reasons I wanted to come on today and just kind of break away from the normal podcast structure I have, and just kind of talk to you guys and let you know that you're not alone, man. And I want to say that it's going to get better one day. You know, it really is. So things will come around, but I want you guys still to have a Merry Christmas. We will be back next week. I'll have a killer interview for you guys next week, and it'll be our last show of the year. So I'll kind of give you an interview and a little bit of a recap of the year. So I want you guys to, just love each other, care for each other. Remember that, you know, man, life is too short. So peace. God bless. We'll see you later.